Welcome, traveler. You've just opened the door to an adventure like no other. This is not an adventure where you simply watch and listen. Oh no, this is your story. And the path you take, well, that all depends on the choices that you make. That's right. You are in control. You choose where to go. At key moments, you will face decisions, and every decision you make will have its consequences, guiding you towards success, danger, or maybe even something unexpected. What will you be, build, and become? Choice is yours. In the description, you will find chapter times for each of the different choices. You can click on these when it's time to select your unique path. At the end of each path, you will hear a finger flutter. This is to clue you in or signal you so you can select your next adventure. You are going on 1, 2, 3 different adventures today. And if you end up hypnotized by my voice and unable to make your own choices for whatever reason, you will just slip into 3 parallel universes before slipping back out into the next adventure. So don't you worry. No matter what, you're in safe hands. It is important that you feel relaxed as possible before embarking on your adventure. So just taking a moment here. Taking a moment to allow your breathing to become deeper. Letting your breathing become deeper. And intentionally releasing the weight of the day off of you. Letting your body become limp, sinking down into a new world, a new reality. Now, a reality where the morning light spills through your bedroom window as your alarm clock buzzes, bringing you into a new day. The usual hum of your life surrounds you. The chirping birds, earphones glow, that itch for caffeine, the understanding that today is another day, just like the rest. And now you're already thinking about your to-do list. It's the kind of day that passes in a blur without anything remarkable happening. As you roll out of bed to make coffee, you glance down at your phone to find a message from an unknown number. Meet me today at the old diner at noon. I have something for you. Don't tell anyone. The words are cryptic enough to make you feel uneasy. You grew up in this town. You know the diner. It's an old, run-down spot that's been closed for as long as you can remember. The diner's a place people talk about, but never visit it. You never gave the place much thought. Until now. You feel a twinge in your gut. Is this some kind of mistake? A prank? Spam? Or could it be something more? There's no name attached to the message, no explanation. And for some strange reason, you feel a powerful urge to go. You can't quite put your finger on why, but something about the message just pulls at you, making it impossible to ignore. It could be nothing more than a strange coincidence, but you can't shake the feeling. You need to find out. You make up your mind. You're going, but as you get dressed, a strange thought creeps into your mind. What if you're stepping into something you can't control? You pull up to the diner just before noon. The place is exactly as you remember, worn down and faded, with broken windows and a flickering neon sign. The parking lot is nearly empty, except there's a single car that seems out of place, a dark blue sedan with tinted windows is parked directly in front of the diner's front door. You hesitate, but something compels you to keep moving forward. As you step inside, you notice the air feels musty and the atmosphere is thick, almost suffocating. The overhead lights buzz erratically, their flickering casting long, jittery shadows across the cracked final booths. Their once bright colors, now faded to dull hues. The counter sits empty, untouched, no sign of life, no sounds of chatter. Only a heavy, unnerving silence. Then you spot him, a figure sitting in the farthest booth. He's older and dressed in a long, dark coat that seems too heavy for the weather. His face seems oddly familiar, but you can't quite seem to place where you've seen him before. He waves you over. "You're here," he says, his voice low and measured. "I knew you would be." You feel a cold shiver run down your spine. It's something about the way he looks at you. It's as if he knows you more deeply than anyone else ever could. "I don't know who you are," you begin, trying to keep your voice steady. "Why did you want me to come?" The man doesn't answer right away. Instead, he slides a small box across the table toward you. It's worn, the edges frayed. You stare at it a second before reaching for it. Slowly, you open the lid. Inside is an old pocket watch. It looks exactly like the one your grandfather used to own. The same intricate design, the same engravings on the back, but this one feels wrong, like it's an older, more worn version of the one you remember, almost like it's a version from a different time. "Take it," the man says, his eyes never leaving yours. "It's meant for you." You hesitate. "What do you mean? How did you get this?" His lips curl into a slight smile, though it's far from reassuring. You've always had it, but be warned, once you take it, everything will change. Something inside you tells you to leave, but curiosity and fear keep you frozen in place. You can't take your eyes off the watch. Before you even realize it, your hand reaches for the watch. The moment your fingers make contact, a shock of cold electricity runs up your arm, and everything around you starts to warp. The diner blurs like the edges of the world are being pulled away from you. The man's face sharpens, his eyes glowing faintly in the dim light, and suddenly you're standing at the edge of something vast, something that stretches beyond your understanding. The man's voice shifts, now distant and hollow, as if it's coming from somewhere far beyond the room. You don't understand. This is bigger than you. Once you take it, you cannot undo it. Time, reality, they will either bend to your will or tear you apart. The choice is yours. You glance down at the watch as it pulsates softly under your hand. A strange compulsion courses through you, as though your body no longer belongs to you. The energy around you grows thick with an electric tension as the world continues to warp. In this moment, you make a choice, one you know will alter everything. The question now is, what will it cost? The choice is yours. Will you choose 1, 2, or 3? You will not be given any clues about the choices you make on your adventures. You must simply pick a number and find the chapter that corresponds to that path in the description. I'll give you a little while longer to find your way. 1, 2, or 3. Find it in the description for adventure 1. You pause, your hand still hovering over the watch, but then a sudden surge of clarity strikes you. You pull your hand back. No, you say firmly, your voice shaking slightly. I won't take it. The man's expression doesn't change, but his eyes seem to darken a shade. You're making a mistake, he says. You force yourself to your feet and take a step back, ready to leave. But the instant you move, everything fractures. The diner, the flickering lights, and the man all twist and blur into a distorted swirl. You feel a sharp tug in your chest, like you're being pulled in 2 directions at once. The man's voice echoes once more, though it feels more distant now. You cannot run from this. You find yourself plummeting, but you never hit the ground. Instead, you're suspended in a boundless void of shifting colors, like a shattered reflection of the world you once knew. You feel the weight of infinite possibilities pressing down on you and closing in on you like a trap. In this moment, you realize refusing the watch hasn't freed you. It's trapped you here, in a place between worlds where time is meaningless. You are floating in limbo, neither here nor there, suspended in a moment that could last forever. The cost of your decision, a prison with no key. The man's voice returns with a cold whisper in your ear. You were never meant to escape. Without thinking, you slam the watch back into its box and throw it across the room. The force of your action feels almost like a release, as if you're rejecting the power it holds over you. The man's expression hardens. You think you can escape it. This is your destiny. You can't undo the past. His voice rises, but there's a tremor of something. Fear? Rage? You can't be sure. As you stand there, the world begins to shake. The diner shakes violently, creaking and groaning with the intensity of a storm, and the air crackles with an eerie electric pulse. The man remains perfectly still and watches you with an unsettling calm. He is already prepared for this outcome. His eyes flickered, briefly glowing before darkening again. Then the ground beneath you shatters, not into dust, but into shards of reality. Time distorts and warps around you as though it's tearing at the seams. A vast, gaping void opens before you, a swirling abyss of distorted memories and splintered worlds, all spiraling into an endless, consuming black hole. You're falling, but not into darkness, through parallel lives. All around you, alternate versions of your life stretch across time. Different versions of you, moments that never happened, decisions that led to different futures. There are versions of you living lives you don't recognize, on streets that aren't familiar, with people you've never seen. The void continues growing wider, revealing an endless horizon of possibility after possibility, leading into chaos. And then you understand. Destroying the watch didn't stop it. It amplified it. You've unleashed a force far more powerful than you ever anticipated. And now you are the architect of a fractured reality. You control it, but you're also at its mercy. Each choice you make in this new world pulls at the edges of time itself, fracturing it further. A deep, ancient voice echoes through the void. You've broken the boundaries. Now you are the architect of your own unraveling. As you try to steady yourself, you realize the terrifying truth. There is no going back. You are both the creator and the destroyer of the world you've entered, and every action you take will continue to fracture the reality around you, until there is nothing left. You take a deep breath. Your hand shakes slightly as you reach for the watch. The moment your fingers close around it, the surge of cold electricity jolts through your body. But this time, something feels different. You don't feel lost or overwhelmed. Instead, there's a steadying calm, a clarity you've never experienced before. The world around you begins to warp, the tide are blurring and shifting, but instead of feeling powerless or adrift, you feel a strange sense of control. Like you're not just a passenger in this strange new reality, but the one holding the reins. The man watches you silently, his expression unreadable, but his eyes flickering their approval. Time and reality are yours, his voice echoes. You raise the watch, the pulsating glow in your hand steadying as you focus on it. With a single thought, the world around you responds, and the shifting colors stabilize into something more familiar, more manageable. The distorted diner in front of you begins to settle and align into a form you recognize, but better, sharper, more vibrant. You feel time beginning to move forward again, as though it's bending to your will. You realize you're not just a part of this world. You've become the very force that shapes it. You've unlocked the ability to weave your reality, to rewrite your past and future with a mere thought. It's not about power for its own sake, but the freedom to create something impactful and meaningful. The man's voice, though distant now, comes to you once more. You've done it. You have control. The world is yours to shape. But remember, the power you hold can build, but it can also break. Choose wisely. And as you stand in this new reality, a world full of endless possibilities, you feel a surge of hope and determination. You've not just survived this new world, you've conquered it. Whatever happens next, you know you are no longer bound by time, by fate, or by any force beyond your control. You are the creator of your own destiny. Drifting into your next adventure. In the vast, endless void of space, you stand as the creator, a being of boundless imagination and power. You are the architect of worlds, capable of shaping planets and guiding their destinies. With a thought, you can mold the fabric of reality. But you know that creating a planet is no small task. It's an endeavor filled with challenges, conflict, and unforeseen consequences. Before you, 3 blank spheres of energy float in the void, awaiting your touch. These will be your creations, your worlds. Each world has its own trials, its own struggles, and its own fate. Choose wisely, for the creation you shape will determine the destiny of its inhabitants. You feel a tug in your mind, a sense of direction. You realize that you must now choose which world to bring into being. Remember, each world is different, with its own unique potential and its own inevitable challenges. The choice is yours. Which world will you choose? 1, 2, 3. Have you made your choice? I'll give you a moment to find your way to your world. If you go in the description under Adventure 2 and choose 1, 2, or 3. You decide to create a world of lush greenery, vast oceans, and sprawling forests. A world of harmony where life thrives in perfect balance. You shape towering trees, crystalline rivers, and wide plains of soft grass. As the world forms, you breathe life into it. The creatures that inhabit this world are peaceful and interconnected. Their minds attuned to the natural rhythms of the planet. They are sentient beings of harmony, living in balance with the flora and fauna. Their communities thriving in an idyllic existence. Each creature contributes to the greater whole, nurturing the land and living in perfect unity. But as time passes, challenges arise. The once abundant resources begin to show signs of strain, and some creatures, eager to expand their territories, start to exploit the land's gifts. The harmony that once defined the world begins to falter. Rivers are threatened by overuse, and forests are trimmed too quickly. The balance of nature begins to waver, and the once stable world feels the weight of unchecked growth. Instead of allowing the forces of greed and overconsumption to take hold, you intervene. You bring together the leaders of all the creatures, wise beings who understand the delicate dance of nature. You offer guidance, helping them recognize the power of cooperation over competition. Through deep reflection and collective decision-making, they agree to work together to restore the balance. Together, they implement new systems, sustainable farming, careful management of resources, and reverence for the environment that sustains them. The creatures now understand the importance of giving back to the land, not just taking from it. Communities unite to replant forests, purify the waters, and protect the ecosystems they once took for granted. They build new technologies, ones that are in harmony with the natural world, rather than in opposition to it. As they change, the world begins to heal. Rivers run clear once more, forests regrow, and life flourishes in a new and thoughtful balance. The creatures learn to live within the limits of the land, rather than exploit it. Peace returns to the planet, but this time it's a peace that is conscious, deliberate, and enduring. The creatures of this world are no longer divided by greed, but united by their shared responsibility to the land that sustains them. In time, the world blossoms into a true utopia once more. This world, born from the potential of life itself, has found its way. The journey to harmony was not easy, but it was worth every step. Your world is alive, and now it always will be. you turn your attention to a world of extremes. This will be a planet of harshness, a place where survival is the goal. You create towering, jagged mountains, vast sand dunes, and barren plains. The atmosphere is dry and thin, and the sun is relentless. It is a world where only the strongest survive, and life must fight for every ounce of sustenance. As you breathe life into the world, you create fierce, determined creatures. These beings are built for the harshness of their environment. Strong and competitive, they form tribes that try and control the scarce resources scattered across the planet. Power and dominance are the driving forces in society. There is little room for weakness, and only the most ambitious rise to the top. The creatures begin to evolve over time, their societies becoming more advanced but even more cutthroat. The planet becomes a battleground, with different factions constantly at war for control. The creatures innovate by building weapons, creating technologies, and forming alliances, but their drive for power ultimately enslaves them to their own ambition. Survival is no longer the goal, it's domination. You watch your creation slowly deteriorate as the creatures destroy not only each other, but their entire world in a final futile battle for dominance. What was once a harsh world of survival has become a desolate place of tyranny and ruin. Your world is destroyed by the unyielding thirst for power and the inability to find unity. You shift your focus to something entirely different, a world held together by magic itself. This world will be governed by the forces of arcane energy, where the laws of physics bend and twist at the will of its inhabitants. Your planet has floating islands, magical rivers, and skies filled with swirling clouds of energy. It is a place of endless potential, where anything can be shaped by the will of those who harness the magic. You create sentient, magical beings, creatures whose very existence is tied to the mystical forces that govern the planet. These beings can manipulate the energies around them and shape reality with their thoughts. Your world is a place of incredible beauty, where the air hums with the vibrancy of this unrestrained power. But with great power comes great danger. As your magical beings grow more and more powerful, they begin to struggle with the limits of their abilities. Some strive to master their magic, seeking to unlock its deepest secrets. Others, feeling the weight of their newfound power, seek to control it for their own benefit. The balance of the magical forces becomes unstable, and the very fabric of reality begins to fray. Rifts in the air open, revealing the dark voids where chaotic energies leak out and distort the land. These rifts threaten to tear the world apart, and the magical beings struggle to control the flow of energy. In their efforts to master the forces, some accidentally unleash destructive powers, earthquakes, floods, and violent storms. As the planet's once beautiful landscapes begin to twist and change, the the creatures fight to control the magic, and entire regions of the planet are ripped apart by the misuse of power. The floating islands collapse, and the once beautiful skies are darkened by swirling storms of chaos. You watch helplessly as the world collapses in on itself, the once thriving civilizations consumed by the chaos they helped create. Your planet is destroyed by the very magic that gave it life. And now you drift into your next phase, drifting into your next phase, drifting. You awaken with a jolt and blink your eyes open, disoriented. For a moment, the darkness around you feels almost oppressive, as if the air itself is holding its breath. Slowly, the darkness begins to dissipate, replaced by an eerie electric blue glow that pulses rhythmically through the air. A sudden zing of energy hums along your spine, and you feel as though you've just crossed the threshold from one reality into another. A voice echoes in your mind, not speaking to you, but through you, filling your consciousness. You are not from here, but you are of this place. As the words resonate, your vision sharpens. The space around you begins to shift. An unfamiliar planet materializes in front of you. You see its landscapes, strange spires of crystal, twisting skies, oceans that shimmer like liquid light, and feel the energy of a vast cosmic presence welcoming you. A ripple forms in the air ahead of you, and from it an entity appears. Its presence is palpable, and its form is like nothing you have ever seen. A creature with vast wings that shimmer as if made of pure starlight reaches toward you, not with its hands, but with its energy, pulling your essence into its orbit. You stand on the precipice of discovery, the voice says. You are a starseed, one of the many chosen to find your origin among the stars. The question now is, which legacy of the cosmos do you carry within you? In the distance, 3 paths open, each marked by glowing symbols. You can feel their distinct energies tugging at you, calling you toward them. Each path leads to an origin, an ancient starseed lineage that binds your soul to the greater tapestry of the universe. The entity gestures toward the paths. You must choose. Your past is hidden, but your future awaits in one of these 3 destinies. Will you uncover your true self? Will you remember where you came from? Step forward and find the starseed that resides within you. You stand before 3 paths, each with its own unique signature of energy. The choice is yours. Which path will you choose? 1, 2, or 3? Have you made your choice? I'll give you a moment to find your way. In the description, Adventure 3. Path 1, 2, 3. You feel a magnetic pull toward the path on the left, where the air shimmers a fiery red. The atmosphere crackles with force, a raw, untamed power that resonates deep in your chest. As you step forward, the world around you shifts in something that feels more solid, more grounded. You find yourself standing on a rocky expanse. In the distance, a vast fortress looms, a citadel of stone and steel. You hear the clash of distant weapons, yet it does not feel violent. It feels controlled, disciplined. This is a warrior's realm, tempered with honor and strength. Suddenly, you're surrounded by a group of figures, tall, broad-shouldered, and cloaked in shimmering armor. They share the same piercing sharpness that you feel in your core. They are the Orion starseeds, the warriors of the stars, protectors of balance and defenders of cosmic order. One of them steps forward. You are one of us. You were sent to lead and protect and to defend the harmony of the universe. As the words fill your mind, you feel a surge of power that surpasses physical strength. It's an innate sense of purpose, a calling to defend what's right, protect the vulnerable, and stand firm in the face of overwhelming odds. Your destiny is one of courage and honor, forged in the fires of conflict and tempered by wisdom. As an Orion starseed, you are the shield, the one who battles for justice and balance. You are drawn to the middle path, where soft light radiates with a calming blue and violet glow, as though infused with spiritual energy. As you step forward, the world around you softens, the environment shifts, and you find yourself walking through an ancient temple, its walls covered in intricate carvings of stars, planets, and celestial patterns. The energy here is still and serene. Ahead, you see a figure in flowing robes, their skin shimmering with a soft light, as if made of the stars themselves. Their eyes are deep and knowing, and as they turn toward you, you feel a sense of recognition and deep belonging. You have come to understand the truth, the figure says. You are an Andromedan starseed. You carry within you the wisdom of the cosmos. You are a cosmic teacher, meant to guide others on their spiritual journey. As their words fill your mind, you understand that your purpose is not forceful, but healing. You are a teacher and guide. You are sent to awaken others to their own potential, to help unlock their inner truth and walk their own path toward awakening. You are bathed in an overwhelming sense of peace and purpose. You are not here to fight or to conquer, but to lead others toward higher consciousness and offer a hand to those who seek wisdom. As an Andromedan starseed, you are the keeper of sacred light, the teacher, the healer, the guide. You feel most compelled toward the right path, where a silvery light weaves in and out of soft waves. As you step forward, the energy feels like an open canvas, unrestrained and full of infinite possibility. The ground beneath your feet shifts into a soft silk-like texture, and you find yourself standing in a field of tall, glowing glowing flowers that pulse with an iridescent light. In the distance, floating cities hover in the air, their shimmering spires twisting and turning like petals of a cosmic bloom. The atmosphere here feels fluid, like the very fabric of reality could be shaped with thought alone. Before you, a figure of radiant light appears. Her presence is warm, inviting, and comforting, like the embrace of a mother. You are a Pleiadian starseed, a visionary dreamer born to create and awaken. The figure speaks with a voice that seems to echo in your soul. Your gift is the power to create new worlds, to shape the future through your visions and dreams. In this moment, everything clicks into place. You are a dreamer, a visionary, someone whose power lies in imagination, creativity, and the ability to see beyond the limitations of the present. You have always felt a deep desire to create, to build new possibilities, and now you understand. You are the one who dreams new worlds into being. You will inspire others to believe in the impossible, to see beyond the mundane, and to build a future full of hope, beauty, and transformation. As the Pleiadian being's light wraps around you, you feel the gentle pull of the stars, and you know your path is to bring dreams to life. If you enjoyed your adventures, let me know which choices you made, which starseed are you, which world did you create, and don't forget to subscribe